Well, hello racing fans, and a warm welcome to our Gallop TV preview show on the 10th of December. It's Sunday at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, and there's plenty of action on offer. It's a 9-race card, and of course there is a main event to the day, and we'll get to that a bit later. It is the Cape Merchants, which is a Group 2 race. And having a look at the fields and the way they're priced up, it looks like a race where the exotics will certainly pay well. I trust that you're well, you're having a fair week, and hopefully you can end it off on a high. As always, we welcome Graham Hawkins onto the show for our preview show from the Western Cape, Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. I haven't spoken to Graham for a while, but I've been off for a few days. Graham, how you been? And just having a look at the results at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, and it certainly haven't gone the punter's way when it comes to exotics, etc.
I think we're all a little bit punch drunk. The racing has been ultra competitive. It's been very challenging. We found some good winners here and there, but it's been difficult to put the whole structure together. This card is no different. 9 races headed, as you mentioned, by the 500,000 Rand Chairman Stakes. And it's another very tricky card. So, you know, it's a challenging card. So we've got to try and get it right.
Yeah, that we will certainly do. Race number 1 kicks off at 12:35 with 9 races carded. It doesn't form part of the exotics. It's over 1,000 meters. It's a maiden plate for fillies and mares. And as always, at the time of recording, we'll give you the horses in single figures. Graham, number 1 is at 7-1. Number 8 at 6-1. We got a 12-10 shot here called Amber Rock. And then it is, it's double figures, the balance. I think we'll start off with the favorite, the daughter of Give Me a Green Light, Amber Rock, Graham. Of course, we know that the stable must rate her as a young horse to have, debuted her in that Protea Stakes and then the nursery.
Yeah, well, she debuted in the Protea Stakes, as you say, against the boys, narrowly beaten by the highly talented Lucky Lad. And then disaster struck in the nursery when she obviously went wrong after showing a lot of good early speed and faded away to finish well behind Lucky Lad on that occasion. Been rested since the 29th of April, part of the Aussie raiding party. If she's well, she'll win this. I know that the team have been a little cautious. They say in the comments, may need the run, but ability to go close. I'm going to rely on that ability. I think if she's anywhere near ready over this minimum trip of 1,000 meters, Amber Rock will take a ton of beating. There are a few well-bred first-timers, none of which seem to be fancied, so that leaves us with Night Vigil and Nile the Boss as the chief opposition. Nothing to choose between those two on past form. Nile the Boss is well exposed, having its 9th start in the maiden ranks. If you go back to the 15th of August when Night Vigil made its debut behind Kathera, Nile the Boss was just a little ahead of her. So you would expect Night Vigil to have more scope for improvement. That one hasn't raced in September. So really it all depends on the well-being of number 11, Amber Rock. If she comes to the races fit, firing and fresh, I think she'll run them all off their feet.
Graham, is it a calculated risk to go for the 12-10, or are you erring on the side of caution here?
No, I wouldn't be taking the 12-10. I'd be happy to sort of mess around with some exactas and trifectas and quartets. It's a big ask to go in with your head down 12-10 off a long break, knowing that things went awry in its last start. That she's got the talent to win a race like this is not in dispute, but I wouldn't be rushing in to grab the 12-10.
Wait race time, you might get a better price on number 11, Amber Rock, or you'll never know. There could be confidence coming through from the course. Race number 2 kicks off the bipod at 13:10, 1,200 meters the distance. Number 1 at 5-1, and number 5 at 7-1. There is a scratching here of number 6, Salute the Flag. 7 at 6-1, 8 at 5-1. Hollywoodbets give us the betting, and they give us the anti-post action as well. Number 11, Stars in Heaven, Graham, has been backed into 7-2, having opened up at 9-2, and then it is double figures the balance. By the way, number 17 is now a runner. Justin Snate has already declared Craig Bantam on number 17, Patrick's 1. Bipod, Graham, do you have a preference for 1 or 2 runners, or are you suggesting that this could be a tricky start to that exotic?
I think it is a tricky start, but Gareth Van Sale does certainly hold a strong hand. It's interesting that the money's coming for number 11, Stars in Heaven. I prefer number 7, Prankster. The form of that last run, which you would have needed on debut in the Western Cape at Hollywoodbets Durbanville when running 5th behind Bright Duchess. Tibetan Voyage has come through to win in the week from that form line. I think Prankster's got a lot of scope for improvement. The form is decent. Of course, the booking of Richard Fourie on number 11, Stars in Heaven, is significant. So I do think Gareth Van Sale holds a very strong hand, and you'd be wise to include both his runners into the first leg of the bipod, numbers 7 and 11. There are obvious chances to number 1, Moon Acres, who gets blinkers for the first time. Number 8, Tambourine Man, has been knocking around in the maidens for a while, but has been placed close up in its last 2 starts. It must have a chance here. Number 15, In the Bag, is interesting. This one is the first selection of Brendan Gayard and is a 12-1. Not my first choice. Others are preferred. I do think it comes down to the 2 Gareth Van Sale runners. A little bit of respect for number 5, Guarding the Wall. So I'm actually going with number 7, Prankster, ahead of number 11, Stars in Heaven. Then number 8, Tambourine Man. In the first leg of the bipod, it's not my chosen bet for today. My chosen bet is the place accumulator, but I would include all of numbers 7, 8, and 11 at the very least. I think Prankster does offer some good each-way value.
7, 8, and 11, and the lesser fancied of the 2 from a stable that Graham thinks could dominate here, the stable of Gareth Van Sale, but the value could be number 7, currently trading at 6-1 at the time of recording. The place accumulator begins at 13.45. It's over 1,600 meters. It's a maiden plate. How they're betting here, Graham? Number 1, Greenland, is at 5-2. 2 Rainbow Colors is a scratching. 4 French Trip at 5-1. Then we go to number 7 at 11-2. And number 13, Quite a King, at 4-1. I think I'm going to kick things off like you in the previous race, Graham. You know, you went for the lesser fancied of the 2 from the Gareth Van Sale stable. I like Quite a King ahead of the stable companion. Regardless of the wide draw, Graham, do you give that a chance, number 13?
You have to give it a chance. A very expensive, well-bred son of Versing Gedricks, having its 3rd run as a gelding, did show some improvement last time out behind Touchdown, but that was a very, very weak race. And that form is yet to stand up. In fact, the form of Quite a King's last 2 runs behind Hard Winter and Touchdown, that form has yet to be franked in any shape or form. So, unlike you, I do prefer the stable companion number 1, Greenland, who one has to say has been really disappointing. Late declaration, the blinkers go on Greenland. And as we've seen in recent meetings at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, the form at Durbanville has not necessarily stood up. Certainly the horses that prefer the more galloping track at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth have emerged victorious and have put the Durbanville form behind them. Now I'm wondering with Greenland, first 2 runs at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth ran 5th on both occasions behind Shlushlui, who's the ruling favourite for the Cape Guineas. The next 4 runs, although not bad, were all at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. So I'm going to give the very well-bred Greenland one more chance. Full brother to Celtic Sea, or half brother to Celtic Sea, rather. The champion Celtic Sea, drawn in pole position. So Greenland does get the vote for me, but not with a great deal of confidence. I would certainly consider numbers 4, French Trip, number 7, Mystery Cash, number 13, Quite a King. I think those make up the viable shortlist. And when it comes to the first leg of the place accumulator, I have suggested you include all of numbers 1, 4, and 7. But my place accumulator perm has been thrown into a little bit of disarray as a result of the scratching of Katsu later on, which was my suggested banker, so we're going to have to rethink things a little bit. But I make Greenland the one to beat, but yes, I do have healthy respect for Quite a King, and if Justin Snaith were to saddle the exacta, I certainly wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, that's it for the place accumulator from Graham Hawkins. On to the big one, the Pick 6, and I think this is certainly worth a go on the Sunday. It's at 14.20. That's when you need to get your bets on. It's over 1,600 meters. And where we go with the betting here, Graham, number 3, Cheeky Laddie is at 8-1, 4 at 6-1, number 7 at 3-1, and then we got horse number 10 at 7-2, and number 12 at 11-2. So at the time of recording, Graham, we got 12 runners that go to post. Have you managed to try and narrow this down for us, maybe, less than half the field?
Yeah, I think less than half the field, but not an easy race. I initially suggested 4 horses to be included in the second leg of the place accumulator. My top choice would be number 10, Pomodoro's Jet. I know at the weights, number 4, Prometeur, would have every chance of overturning that last win. They were close together, and Prometeur is now a kilo and a half better off. But this will be Pomodoro's Jet's peak run. Third run after a very long rest, third run after being gelded, showed tremendous potential as a young horse, was off the track for more than a year. And the fact that they persevered with him suggests that the 5-year-old son of Pomodoro has got a lot more to come. So I'm expecting big further improvement from number 10, Pomodoro's Jet. So it does get the vote as the top choice. But number 4, Prometeur, will make him run all the way to the line. So that is the second selection. Then the early favourite, number 7, the Rapid Dash. I think we'll have to expect further improvement from the 3-year-old son of Denon Platina. 12, Kariaku's an interesting runner, can't be safely ignored, so it gets included into the play. And there are 2 others I want to mention. Big Ruffy could be number 1, My Bestie, returns to his best course and distance. So recent form has all been at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, but when you look at the course and distance form, 7 start for 1 win, 1 second and 3 thirds. Dropping in the ratings, a further 4 points relief from its last run, drawn in pole position. Sean Veal back in the Western Cape, so watch for a much better run from number 1, My Bestie. And then number 3, Cheeky Lad, is also warrants some consideration. So it's not an easy start, but I do think that 10, Pomodoro's Jet, sets a standard and this is his peak run, could well put them all to bed here.
I just want to add to that because I looked at the average rating of this field, which is an 89, and then I had a look at the top weights here, numbers 8 and 9 respectively, and look at the company that their stables have kept them in. Average ratings of 105, 104, 100 for Gainsford, Garrett Van Zyl, 110 and 100. I mean, even though they're shouldering those top weights, wouldn't be a surprise to see these horses pop up in this division.
No, it wouldn't. Gainsford's never been the most reliable, but there's no questioning that he has the talent. He is, after all, a 5-time winner. I think Wicken Warrior, safe to say that he's largely underperformed as far as the expectations of the stable have been concerned. So if he was to show sudden improvement dropping into this class, no, it wouldn't be a massive surprise at all.
The more I listen to Graham Hawkins, the more I want to include the field here, just to be safe. You don't want to miss out, because I think it could be a sizable pool on this Sunday. 12 runners go to post. I think if it's affordable, maybe Graham can try and narrow things down in the races to come. 12 runners in leg number 1 in the field, and you're safe. Race 5, 1,800 meters, will take place at 1,500 hours. It will be jackpot 1. The betting here, Graham, will begin with number 2 at 8-1, number 3 at 4-1. 4, as Graham mentioned earlier on, is a very important scratching on the card. 5 is at 7-2, 7 at 8-1, 8 at 9-2, and then 9 at 2-1. Graham, with the scratching of number 4, Katsu, you mentioned that you're now going to have to change your play. Is it a big change of play now that the horse is scratched, or you can still, try to possibly, 8 runners go to post here, Graham? Can you go maybe 4 runners in the pick 6?
Yeah, it now becomes quite a trappy little contest. And just to remind everybody, although this is the second leg of the pick 6, it's the first leg of jackpot 1. We have a carryover of 250,000 rand. We're expecting that jackpot pool to reach $1 million. So a lot of interest in races 5, 6, 7, and 8 for jackpot 1. My top choice in the absence of Katsu would be number 5, Right Royal Mo. But the form between Avignon, Right Royal Mo, Gentleman Joe, these horses, the form between them, there's not much to choose, but I think that Right Royal Mo will have their measure. Call to Unite was very impressive when winning its maiden at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, and could have a lot of scope for further improvement. He's very well bred, and he won that race in the manner of a progressive 3-year-old, so no surprise if Call to Unite was to come out on top. Willie John actually beat Call to Unite when winning the maiden, but then was disappointing, so that throws a little bit of a cloud over Call to Unite. Avignon was unlucky when beaten half a length by Gentleman Joe. The lurker in the pack could be William I. Also been racing pretty well at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. But his course form at Kenilworth is pretty good. Second to Sudden Song, third to Coronation Time, close up behind Mucho De Niro. So I'm afraid I can't be off too much help. I was pretty confident that Katsu was going to get us through the place accumulator as a banker. But in his absence, the race becomes a little bit murky. And Right Royal Mo and Call to Unite, my top two choices ahead of William the West, then Gentleman Joe Avignon, and perhaps behind that Willie John. But no conviction here, I'm afraid. There's no conviction.
Graham, with your talent and skill as a commentator, there's no doubting your memory. I want you to please help me, because I had a look at this horse called Call to Unite, and then I saw the damn Siren's Call. Now, I know that you won the first two legs of the Triple Tiara, which is the Guineas and the Classic. What happened in that third leg, Graham? I know something went wrong. Pierce Stradham took her down to the start, and then something went off in that third leg, the Oaks. She used to race in the colors of Peter de Beyer. Can you recall what happened that day? She got scratched at the start. I said I'm going to pick your brain on the show.
You're throwing me under the bus here,
No,
Dees. I'm quite an old man these days. You're asking me to remember these finer details. That's a little unfair. That's a curveball of note. I think if my memory serves me correctly, she spread a shoe or whatever, and they battled. But yeah, so it didn't work out for her as far as the Triple Tiara was concerned. But there was no doubting that the dam of Call to Unite Siren's Call was a hell of a filly. And this one's bred to do the job. And in fact, my comment when he won his maiden the other day was, could this be a Derby horse?
Yeah.
And if he were to turn out to be a Derby horse, obviously he's got to progress. This race is critical for him. If he's going to have any aspirations to winning a race like the Derby, he's got to put this field to bed.
I like that a lot, Graham. I like number 9, Call to Unite, a lot. I know there is form to work around, but if you want to take a chance after the scratching of, I actually wanted to just go 4 and 9 here in the pick 6, but now with 4 being scratched, why chicken out? I'm going to
be absolutely on the button, these. You could be absolutely on the button. Call to Unite might just be too strong for them.
If I get the green light from Graham Hawkins, I think that's a chance worth taking. Race number 6, 1,800 meters, fillies and mares. The Comet Syndicate, and I had a chat about Ashton Reynolds about this, and I wish them all the best with that syndicate, the Comet Syndicate. 1,800 meters, number 2 at 11-2. There's money here, Graham, anti-post on Hollywoodbets for number 4, Win Runner, from 11-2 into 9-2. Number 6, Priceless at 4-1. Then on to number 4 at 7-1, 12 at 6-1, and 13 at 8-1. Graham, your suggested bet on the show, I don't know what you're going to be doing in the previous race where I think you went for number 4, Katsu, but how many horses in your place accumulator?
Yeah, just had the 2, number 6, Priceless, and number 8, Enchanting Choice. I think Enchanting Choice offers very good each-way value in another difficult race at around 8-1. Lightly raced daughter of Rafif. She really enjoyed stepping up to the 1,800 meters. She beat Family Power. That franked the form in the week. I think she'll continue to improve, and in this class has got a good as chance as any and appeals as an each-way bet. 6, Priceless is difficult to assess. She won on debut over 1,000 meters and then was struggling. And then suddenly they stepped up to 2,000 meters, and she won the race as she was dropped in at the 400-meter mark, coming from stone last to win, going away full of running. So, Priceless is obviously very much at home over this kind of a trip. She's a daughter of Dynasty. She could easily follow up. I respect the money for Wind Runner. The form is not that convincing. Recent maiden winner Lorena can improve further. Women's World, Lucy, the Pink, they've been knocking around these sort of divisions for a long time. But I'm happy with my top 2 choices. I'm going number 8, Enchanting Choice, is my top choice ahead of number 6, Priceless. But Priceless, having found a form over this kind of a trip last time out, could be a tough nut to crack. But I think that Enchanting Choice for me.
6 and 8 in race number 6. On to the main event at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, and all things being equal, should kick off at 16:15. It's the Cape Merchants. It's a Group 2. It's for a stake of 500,000. The distance is 1,200 meters. At the betting, horses in single figures. Number 3, Sergey at 7-2. Then we go on to number 6, Quasi for sure. Have a look at this, Graham. 8-1 into 11-2. Peter Muscat's runner. Then on to horse number 10 at 6-1, 11 at 7-1, and we got an 8-1 shot in number 14, Countdown. I think before we get to Sergey, who deserves his position at top of the betting boards, what you make of the money for number 6, Quasi for sure?
Not surprised at all. I think 8-1 was pretty generous as an opening call. I know he surprised many when winning over 1,200 metres, beating the very talented Gladiatorian last time out in a pinnacle race at Hollywoodbets Greyville back on the 23rd of October. But as always said, this is a horse of the highest quality. He's been tried over various distances. They were hoping to get the July trip. He's probably at his very best over 1,400 to 1,600, but you can't keep class down, and Quasi for sure is definitely a runner here. He's not my first choice, but he's definitely on the short list of 4. My top choice would be number 10, King Regent. I think, again, very good each-way value. He's unbeaten over the course and distance. All 4 of his wins have come over this type of distance. He's had 2 over 1,200 metres and 2 over 1,250 at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, where he beat Double Superlative and Princess Colour. Now, King Regent is closely related to a former July winner in Hunting Tower, and everybody was expecting, with his pedigree, being by dynasty, he's going to want to go ground. But this is not the case. He's just a pure sprinter. And on that basis, I think he's going to go well here. But you have to respect number 3, Sergey. My only question mark would be second run back off arrest 14 days ago. He ran second to Thunderstruck. If he doesn't have a flat run, if he doesn't suffer from the second run after arrest syndrome, then Sergey is certainly one of the leading lights. Cosmic Highway steps back in trip, has shown improvement last time out, over 1,600, prior to that 1,400. But if they go quickly, he's got a very powerful turn of foot, and Cosmic Highway seems to be recapturing the kind of form that he showed very much earlier in his career. So I'm going 10, King Regent, ahead of number 3, Sergey, 11, Cosmic Highway, and 6, Quasi for sure. But I think you need to throw all 4 of those into your carryover jackpot perms and into your pick 6 perms.
And then this horse, number 8, Montine, I just must give this horse a mention. There could have been so many options for Pit Bota with a horse that's on the up, winning over 1,800 and 1,600, reeling off the hat trick. But he's opted for this race, Graham. 53.5 kgs, dropping to 1,200 meters. The horse is obviously very talented.
Very talented. He's caught me napping. I have to be honest. 3 in a row, and I kept thinking, well, he won't repeat, and here I am again saying he won't repeat. He's got a very low weight. This is a handicap. The weight range is quite vast. He carries 53.5. He's a very, very decent horse. But I've got to believe that he's in this race just to keep him ticking over for something that they've got penciled in for a little later on. So I'm going to take the view it's going to be too sharp and too quick. For Montine, he's a very nice horse, and that this race is there just to keep him ticking over. But of course, I could be way off the mark.
Yeah, he could be very cleverly placed by his trainer. Obviously knows him best, and what a nice record has this Anthony Andrews partnered with number 8, Montine. Let's see what happens there. But Graham has given you a few numbers to include in all bets, including that carryover jackpot, which is estimated to reach, as he mentioned, 1 million rand. And that closes in race number 8. It's 1,200 meters. And what's happening in this race, Graham, with regards to betting, number 3 at 8-1, 4 at 4-1, 5 at 4-1, 6 at 9-2, and then we go all the way down to number 12, and that's trading at 5-1. So, this horse Navajo Dancer, last time out, Garrett Van Zyl, who disseminates, his comments on the respective forum, he was very upbeat about this horse's chances, and he was spot on.
Yeah, I was hoping you could enlighten us as to the chances of number 12, Navajo Dancer. Obviously, you're close to the Gareth Van Zyl team. He won his maiden very professionally. He'd only had one previous start, which was sometime before that. Went 5.5 lengths behind the useful Cliffhanger. So he could be anything in the making, number 12, Navajo Dancer. And has certainly got to go into the play, despite the fact that he's only had a couple of starts and he was a maiden winner last time out. These horse that interests me mostly is currently at 12-1. Now, if there's no money for him, then as race time approaches, then perhaps he'll need this run. Boogie-fied. His form is by Justify, who's hitting all of the right headlines around the world as a stallion.
Yes.
He has his first start as a gelding.
Yes.
I comment he ran last time in Green with Envy. Green with Envy, of course, we know is in the Guineas. Was that this horse will probably need cutting. So here he comes. He was gelded on the 10th of October, and he makes his reappearance down the straight at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, where he made his debut in second to Mer Capitano. He then beat Magic Verse, who's come out to flatter that form. So Boogie Fight for me is very interesting. I don't know what the stable are expecting. This trip might be a little on the sharp side for him these days. He might be looking for further. But I suspect he's got a ton of class. He's out of a trippy mare. He's beautifully bred. He's internationally well bred. And so whatever you do, don't leave Boogie Fight out of the play. Even if he's not fancied, he may have the class to come up on them, because this is just your typical class 4 handicap. Horses that have been in this sort of division forever, all about L. Tough Terrain. I actually think Tough Terrain does prefer Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Its form at Kenilworth is a little suspect. Masked Vigilante knocking at the door very loudly, but very much in his place. War Chariot, being a 3-year-old, might have scope for further improvement. And we mentioned Navajo Dancer. But for me, the key horse in the race is Boogie Fight. I'm going to watch him go to the gates, obviously. At this kind of a price, I'm going to have an each-way go, and you can't get too hurt, because I think he's the class act in the race, and I think ultimately he'll be the best horse coming out of this race.
That's the type of horse you want to include in the exotics. The carryover jackpot, the pick 6. If this horse has to arrive, no doubt you are going to drop a lot of tickets here, because at 12-1, as Graham mentioned, he may just be under the radar with regards to what he's shown post-maiden. And race 8, horse number 7, Boogie Fight, could be the answer to you catching that jackpot, which is estimated to reach R1 million. I'm going to watch that closely and definitely be including that in everything. Race number 9, closing things off over 1,400 meters. How are they betting here? Well, number 3, Summer Lily, has attracted the anti-post betting support. Graham, 33-10 into 5-2. Number 5 is at 8-1. And then we go to number 12, a trip to Maputo, at 3-1. And we got number 15, Among the Clouds, which is a 6-1 shot. I may have missed out the betting on number 11 here, Graham, but I'll just double check that while you give your assessment.
No, number 11, Little Miss Pink, is quoted at a big price, which is absolutely ridiculous when you think that she ran second to Sidley last time out, had Summer Lily, Among the Clouds, Pineapple Mint Green, and Easy Money behind her. They're all much shorter in the betting, but because she's a 5-year-old, and I don't know, but Little Miss Pink seems to be ignored in the market again. She was ignored last time, and I think she represents very good each-way value. Yes, of course, the younger horses have got scope for improvement. So number 3, Summer Lily, who finished just on the heels of Little Miss Pink last time out, is nicely drawn in gate 3. JP van der Merwe rides for Justin Snaith. The team are doing really well. So Summer Lily must get the vote as the first choice. But healthy respect for number 11, Little Miss Pink. Number 12, Trip to Maputo on a hat-trick. Different form lines, but quickly improving, this well-bred daughter of Trippy. So you've got to respect her. And 15, Among the Clouds, does look to be held by both Summer Lily and Little Miss Pink. And Among the Clouds has got the worst of the draw to overcome. But sometimes now, with the fields coming to the outside in races around the turn at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, maybe cornering for home 2 or 3 wide is not the worst tactic. So that brings Among the Clouds into the race. So I make it a race in 4, 3 Summer Lily, 11 Little Miss Pink, 12 Trip to Maputo, and 15 Among the Clouds. And I think you can narrow the final race down to those 4 runners.
Graham, I just just went by 11 Little Miss Pink, and I saw the form in black and white, and I thought I missed something, but you're 100% correct. The horse is trading at 12-1, unbelievably so. But Graham is...
That's a crazy price. Win, lose, or draw, it's a crazy price.
12-1 is a crazy price, and it could be the right result for you. Again, like the previous race, big prices for the 2 runners in races 8 and 9 for Graham Hawkins. Boogie Fight and Little Miss Pink. Imagine if that has to come through, even if it's a place double. Well, Graham, you said your suggested bet is a place accumulator, and you have a problem. What are you going to do in the race where Katsu is?
I'm going to follow D's Thailand. He's quite a good judge. I don't know if you've met him, but I'm going to follow D's Thailand, and I'm going to bank a number 9, Call to Unite. So it basically reads 1, 4, and 7 in the first leg. 4, 7, 10, 12 in the second leg. My original banker, number 4, Katsu, in the third leg has been scratched, so we'll deputise with number 9, Call to Unite. Then 6 and 8, Priceless and Enchanting Choice. Then in the Merchants, 3 and 10, Sir J and King Regent. Then 5, 7 and 12, which is Master Vigilante, Boogie Fight and Navajo Dancer. And then 3 and 11 in the last, that's Summer Lily and Little Miss Pink. That's the suggested place accumulator play. And I've shown a little bit of cowardice by going for the place accumulator, because finding the jackpots and the pick sixes at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth in the recent weeks and indeed Cape Racing has been extremely difficult, challenging, all for the right reasons. Many horses in each leg with legitimate claims to winning.
Well, you've just told me that you're in KZN for a few days, Graham, so hopefully we can catch up before you leave. But thanks a lot for your input.
Thanks, Keys. Go well. Have a lovely weekend. See you Monday morning.
Yep, thanks to Graham Hawkins and thanks to the Gallop TV team. To you, the valued racing fan, have a blast. Find all the winners, and hopefully it turns out to be a very successful day if you are playing at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. And until we meet again, you take care. Salanigasle.